Greetings, my dear friends. The purpose of this video is to give you a demonstration on how to add additional disks or additional network adapters into a virtual machine running on VMware Workstation, right? So before I make those changes, let me just start up the VM and show you what we have currently in the VM just to verify, right? So I'm going to boot up the virtual machine now. Let's give it a few. And I'm going to log in using my credentials. Great. So let me just open up a terminal real quick and let's do a list block devices. So this shows you that currently you have only one disk and three partitions inside that disk, right? And if you do the ifconfig command, you can see currently we have only one interface which has network access, right? Now, one thing that is important here, you must need to have your virtual machines powered off before you make any changes, right? If you're trying to add an additional disk or add an additional network interface, your virtual machine has to be powered off, right? So to make any changes to these things here, you might want to click on Edit Virtual Machine Settings. And if you go to the bottom here, you have a small icon called Add. Click on that. And the first thing I want to do is add an additional disk to this VM. So I leave that selection there, click on next. Now I do have an NVMe SSD disk in my laptop. You may or may not have this in your systems. So it might go back to SATA, which is also fine, right? So let it be and click on next. I would need to create a new virtual disk. And for the purpose of this demo, I'm keeping the size to say 10 gigs, right? And I don't want to store it as multiple files. I want to store this disk as a single file. If you wish to name your disk with a particular name, you may make changes here. I'm just going to leave it as it is and click on finish, right? So as you can see here, we already have added a new disk with 10 gigs of size, right? The next thing I want to add is an additional network adapter, right? So again, click on add, select network adapter and click finish. By default, it uses NAT, but if you want to make changes to that network connection, you may select bridged or whatever you have configured in your systems, right? For me, I'm going to leave it as it is and save the changes that I've made to this virtual machine. So you can see the updated settings for the virtual machine here. And just to verify once again, let's start up the virtual machine. I'm going to log in using my credentials. And again, you're going to open up a terminal and pass those same commands. So when you do a list block devices, so this time you can see there is an additional disk here of 10 gigs, right? And also if you pass the ifconfig command, you can see that you have an additional interface with the NAT settings come up for your virtual machine. I'm going to power off the virtual machine now. That's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.